Hello everybody! Welcome back to Let's Play Metroid Prime. It's Prime Time! Last time we went and grabbed a Morph Ball Bomb and, something else. Oh yeah, the Charge Shot. Can't forget about the good old Charge Shot. Grabbed a bunch of expansions and now we're off to go and fight the main boss of Chozo Ruins. And I'm hoping I'm not missing anything else before doing so, because that would suck. So, our boss is over here in the big ol' sun chamber. And we're gonna make a big, backtrack over to there, so we can go ahead and take care of business. I don't think I'm missing anything else, am I? I don't think I am. I sure as fuck hope not. Alright. Whatever the case. If I ended up missing something in the ruined shrine, I can always go back, because we'll be going back there in the future anyhow. So, getting to the boss here shouldn't be too bad, because we already went and scanned 2 of the, symbols needed to access that room. It's pretty much the same deal as the Charge Shot puzzle. You need to find 4 symbols, and you gotta scan those to gain access to the door barricading the boss. I think we got that too, didn't we? Oh shit. Get out of my way. Yep, we sure did. And by the way, that is a different breed of tangleweed altogether. That is poison tangleweed, and I say that despite it sounding kind of redundant, because that is a separate lore entry, so make sure you take care to scan these different things, because sometimes you might run into similar variants of creatures, but on the other hand, however, that creature can be in its own subcategory of species, or specific species rather, of that said line of creatures, that it'll warrant a separate entry in the logbook altogether. So just something to look out for. Actually, yeah, speaking of devil, that's weird. I wonder why that other pile of tangle weeds over there at the bottom there didn't count as its own separate entry. Huh. They're basically the same as tangleweed, except they actually do damage, so we want to stay the hell away from those. Hi, Mr. Warwasp. Go away, Mr. Warwasp. Okay, I see where they're coming from. There we go. There we go. These things are so bloody annoying, especially when you don't have a whole lot of space to move around in. Can't seem to... There we go. I thought for sure I wouldn't be able to get that towards me. Alright, so I think our last symbol here is on the top of this tower. Alright, there we go. It's something I've been kind of insecure about lately, especially when I'm going back and watching my recent videos, is that I feel like the current mic I've been using has been giving me a lot of shit as of late. I've noticed there are periods of where there's a little bit of static, and I don't know, it's like it's something that randomly shows up off and on, and it's really annoying, and it makes me uncertain as should I stick with this particular mic, or should I be going back to the studio mic I've been using back in Super Mario Land 2, for instance. It's been kind of a contributor to why these videos don't upload as fast as they probably should be uploading, because it's like, I just keep running into technical issues one after the other, and it's a big pain in the ass, I won't lie. Also, there's a lot of Reaper vines, rather. Guess we're coming close to the source of the problem. And here is our first big boss, not counting the Parasite Queen of Prologue's fame. And this boss is actually kind of interesting. You know, for all things considered for a first boss, Prime starts off pretty strong. So the way this boss is, it's almost kind of like a puzzle boss, sort of. Make sure you scan the main body. And since it is a big boss, scanning these things take longer than usual as compared to most other creatures that we've scanned so far. That is something to take note of. But something that a lot of people will miss is that the things that are guarding Flagra's weak point also happen to be their own logbook entry, and that is something you gotta remember. Because again, once you beat a boss, you can't ever scan it again, and that includes the things that come with it. So, yeah. So basically what we want to do is that we want to constantly shoot Flagra in the face, and then once we do so, these things will be free to hit. And the reason you want to shoot Flagra is because Flagra is actually intelligent enough to keep his weakness, or gates to his weakness, rather, up and secured, so that way it's keeping you from getting to his weak point. So basically, you have to hit these satellites in order to open up a route to his roots. Wow, that... I didn't mean for that to sound like a pun, I'm sorry. And once you do so, that's basically how you deal damage to Flagra. And the further along you go in the fight, the more satellites you have to activate. And you have to constantly keep shooting at Flagra to make sure he's not, you know, keeping the satellites up like as so. It's a pretty simple boss fight, and it requires a lot of multitasking, I won't lie. But all in all, I like it. It's pretty cool. It's something that takes pretty good use out of an otherwise limited aiming system and turns it into something with a lot of like different layers involved. I just wish, again, I could say the same for a lot of the other later bosses, because my positive reception to those aren't quite as positive. Just gonna spoil that right now. Ow. I think he's hitting me, and it needs to stop. It also helps to keep a lock on to Flagra as you're moving to the satellites, because that gives you access to strafing. And whenever you strafe, it helps you move faster than usual getting to the weak points. And since it's something that you're having to like constantly keep track of, as well as, you know, making sure you get to the satellites in just enough time before Flagra smacks them up, strafing really does help to build up speed without losing concentration. Because some people make the mistake of using Morph Ball to get over to the satellites faster, but that also requires you getting in and out of Morph Ball, which takes a fair amount of time to do, believe it or not. So, yeah, it's not a strategy I'd suggest doing. Just stay strafed onto Flagra here. Keep shooting him. And then shoot this last satellite here. And then the last weak point should be way over there. There we go. And that was Flagra. Pretty simple boss. Lots of multitasking. Almost kind of felt like a puzzle boss. Yeah. Not much else to say besides that. And now, because we've beaten Flagra, all of the poison / toxic water that has been kind of present throughout Chozo Ruins is pretty much gone, and defeating Flagra gets rid of that issue altogether. So now we can safely step into that water and not take any damage for doing so, thank goodness. Really murky looking water too. Whew. So, obviously, besides that, we get ourselves a nice nifty little reward for all of that. And that reward is the Varia Suit, and this is going to be the suit that we'll be sticking with throughout most of the game, and I wouldn't be surprised from that fact alone, because, well, it's Samus's iconic suit, damn it. I've always found it strange that how the Varia Suit has always been kind of the standard, like, promotional box art, like, stock, like, image for, you know, recognizing Samus in most of her appearances, because, like, you know, it's technically you start off with the Power Suit in almost every other game, besides the Prime games. But I guess Prime just kind of, like, made it standard that, oh, hey, we're gonna recognize Samus through her Varia Suit from now on. Well, no, I guess technically Smash started that trend, but you get the idea. We got the big, bulky shoulder pads and everything, and I don't know. Man, like, I've always kind of liked the Power Suit, honestly. It's the most unique looking suit because, like, every other suit you get in Prime, spoiler alert, are all different color schemes rather than an alteration of the pre-existing suit that you've had. And I've always kind of found that somewhat disappointing, and I'm glad that by the time Samus Returns finally rolled out, it gave the Gravity Suit a different, like, alteration altogether, besides it being a different color palette swap, which is a nice, like, like, relief compared to, like, all of the other Gravity Suits we've gotten throughout the series, I suppose. I guess I never did scan the missile ammunition, huh? But yeah, it's like, what I'm trying to say here is that, like, I appreciate the Power Suit for being something different as a whole. And I don't know, I think the flat shoulder look kind of fits Samus, honestly. Like, it makes her look kind of slim, but it also still kind of gives off the vibe of her being super powerful. Not quite as powerful as her having the Varia Suit, that is, but, like, it's like the kind of image you get from viewing somebody that's really slim and mobile, but still very, very deadly and dangerous. Whereas with the Varia suit, it just, like, I'm not against the Varia suit's design at all. In fact, I really love the appearance of the Varia suit in Prime 2, for instance. But it also kind of gets rid of the whole mobile, like, personality aspect of the previous suit before the Varia suit, you know what I'm saying? It almost kind of makes it look like Samus is so bulky she can't fucking move in that thing. Which I guess is kind of my main complaint against the Varia suit in Prime 1. Not Prime 2, not Prime 3, but Prime 1. Because, like, I don't think the Varia suit looks bad by any means. I just don't like how bulky it looks compared to, like, Samus's, you know, height proportions. Like, I just don't think it really I just don't think the bulkiness and, like, the way the suit is laid out really matches her proportions all too well, given how tall Samus actually is. And I've never really liked how subdued the orange color scheme is either. It always kind of, like, especially in darker lit areas, most notably, because when you go into areas like those, for instance, and then you see the Varia suit, it doesn't even really look orange. It's just kind of really metallic and very reflective looking, and it doesn't really elicit a whole lot of, like, personality out of, like, outside of, oh hey, I'm bulky and awkward. At least in Prime 2, they make the Varia suit, like, it's still kind of bulky, but, like, at the very in the very same sense, it's like it's still slim enough to give the impression that Samus can move around freely, and it matches her proportions way better, I find. Just looks a whole lot less restrictive. And yeah, here we are in Magmoor Caverns. I better hope you get used to this area, because we're going to be backtracking through here a lot. Magmoor Caverns kind of serves as that interconnectional hub area that leads between different areas of Tallon IV. And you're going to be coming back through here a lot to backtrack through all of the different routes and shit just to get from one area to the next. And, I won't lie, Magmoor Caverns is pretty attractive on the first one or two visits, but it gets very tiring after a while, and I'll be going into more detail with that later on. But yeah, here we are in Magmoor Caverns, aka the place that for whatever reason everybody associates this particular track slash theme with, because people tend to forget that it's based off of Ridley's lair in Super Metroid. Like even Samus Returns like soundtrack, like the game, the special edition of the game came with a soundtrack that has all of the different Metroid tracks in it and shit. And they refer to the remix heard in the lava-infested areas as Magmoor Caverns. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, why? I mean, it's not a bad remix by any means. I just, like, I don't really get the same, like, feeling of emotion and attention that I do from the version heard over in Super Metroid. Whereas in Super Metroid, it felt like it was building up to something fierce. And Metroid Prime, however, the way the tone elicits is that it's just another casual stroll through a lava-infested cavern, I guess. That's the best I could think of. Like, do you guys kind of get that impression too? Like it feels like a casual stroll just by the kind of emotion the track itself is eliciting. I don't know, maybe I'm thinking too hard on the subject. I mean, the instrumentation for the track is really good, I won't lie. Da-dum-bum-bum-bum. Also, these things are absolutely annoying as hell. Make sure you shoot these things from a distance, otherwise you'll get infested with poison gas, and that's no good, because these things hurt like a motherfucker once you stay in that gas for way too long. Be an enemy in here for some reason. I don't really know why. And these things are Triclops, hard-shelled creature with powerful jaws. The Triclops is a hunter-gatherer. It collects small creatures and bits of foodstuff that deposits them elsewhere for later consumption. The hard tripartite mandibles it uses to move earth and rock are quite strong and difficult to escape once ensnared. So basically, once we jump foot into there as a morph ball, this thing suddenly thinks we're food, which I find kind of cute, actually. Like, I'm sorry, like, I know these creatures are supposed to be, like on the scale of creepy crawlies and shit, but, like, I've always found small creatures like this in the Metroid Prime universe kind of cute for some reason. Maybe I'm just weird, who knows, but, like, I've always liked watching them just kind of pitter-patter around, just wandering aimlessly like a lost little hopeless child. I won't lie, there's portions of Metroid Prime I find cute. It sounds a little weird, I know, but, like, I don't know, man. I don't know what to tell you. I just get vibes off of Metroid Prime in ways that other people don't, I suppose, but... Bum, ba-dum, ba-dum, bum, bum, bum. And another thing about Magmoor Caverns, too, is that, like, it's the closest area you'll have to 3D-esque platforming bits, in the sense that, like, there's a lot of sections in which you have, like, time flame pillars and moving platforms and shit, and it almost kind of feels like a 3D platformer the more and more you delve into this kind of environment, because it kind of feels, it really does feel like a linear platforming stage, I won't lie. kind of based off of how it's formed, because like most of the route we've taken to get to this point has been pretty linear compared to most other areas we go through. Also, aren't these different logbook entries altogether? No, no. Okay. I've been really reckless in this playthrough so far. I really do hope I'm not missing any missiles, though. That would suck if I was. Bum, ba-dum, ba-dum, bum, bum, ba-da-da-dum. Oh god, I didn't even see you, jerk. I know there's an exploit you can do with the missiles, whereas it involves loading them up faster based off of how you're charging your charge shot. But I'm trying to, like, recall how you'd even do that in the first place, honestly. And yeah, if it wasn't present already, these are the same looking computers we saw back in friggin' Orpheon, so it's pretty evident that there's been space pirate activity of some sort here, so. Ooh, Phazon, huh? Phazon operations. Now, what on earth could be so fascinating about this whole idea of Phazon? I love little bits and pieces like this where it just kind of like there's definitely foreshadowing to like important elements that will show up later in the game. It's just done in such a subtle way that you don't really think twice about it unless you're like playing the game on your second playthrough or something. Oh god, I'm fucking this up. So the reason we're doing this is because there is a energy tank at the end of all of this. And I want that energy tank, darn it. Oh, what? Are you kidding me? Damn it. Okay. And then one more time, please. Whee! I really did not want to fall into that lava a fourth time. Thank you very much. Alright, and we're already heading off into another brand new area. And this is what I like to call the Sector 5 of Metroid Prime. Because, like, if anybody's watched my, Metroid Fusion playthrough, you'll know that for whatever reason, Sector 5 is the only sector you visit 3 times, whereas with every other sector you visit twice. And that's certainly no exception with Phendrana Dress, let me go ahead and tell you, right here and now. Maybe it's just me, but I guess, like, the Metroid series has some kind of, like, awe fascination with ice-ridden, like, tundra wastelands, I suppose, but yeah, Phendrana Drifts, aka one of the most gorgeous looking areas in all of the game. It's got some really soothing music too, and it only gets better the further you go. So I'm gonna go ahead and blow this up. And there's a lot of new creatures lurking about. That we're just gonna go ahead and blow up right here and now. Even though it was clearly minding its own business. Makes you almost feel kind of bad for the wildlife because it's not like they deserved it. And then, I know, it's right over here, shut up. And yeah, I like the idea that, like, you see all of this, and you see, like, all of these notes left behind by the space pirates saying that they need to report stuff over to HQ, or stuff like this happens, and it's like, god damn, a 30% ration cut? You guys are gonna starve these people to death just to get these things done? Like, Jesus. It's so fun looking at these logbook entries and you see just the kind of like species the space pirates really are. And it's implied that like the save station isn't just a save station for shits and giggles. Like this is an actual resource that the space pirates use, and I'm glad that like a game like Metroid Prime actually gave like some kind of realistic purpose to them, other than them just kind of being there, you know. Anywho, that's gonna be it for part 4 of Metroid Prime. Next time, we're gonna explore Phendrana Drifts and see what's up next. So see you guys then.